I believe in everything until it's disproved. So I believe in fairies, the myths, dragons. It all exists, even if it's in your mind. Who's to say that dreams and nightmares aren't as real as the here and now? John Lennon. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Well House Exorcism. This is your ghost of a host of the most, Shanna.
It's Puckwa PJ.
Hey, it's Carrie.
Woo woo!
I'm back.
Back again.
Back again.
Hello.
I'm so happy that it's not just me and Pakwa PJ.
Why?
She loves me.
Whatever are you referring to?
This episode is brought to you by Maggie's Casket LLC. If you are looking for a spooky lady who can teach you to paint, then look no further than this company. She offers a variety of painting and sipping endeavors. She is professional and lovely as a person to work with, so get your spooky on and paint with Maggie's Casket LLC. All right, so tonight, my tribe, my lovelies.
We're getting sleepy.
This is why I'm so glad that Carrie's here. Carrie, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, we're going to talk about dreams and deja vu and night terrors
Sleepy stuff.
all that kind of nice spooky.
Yes, all right.
Burger.
And this kind of comes as a comment to one of our newest, probably not one of our newest listeners, but one of our newest commenters, Carrie. A different Carrie.
Not me.
Carry, yeah. He said he likes the real life conversations and stories that we have once in a while. So this is just for you, Carrie, because you say you like the real stuff. We have some updates about some possibly haunted, well, definitely haunted locations. One, I am not going to use the person's name because I did not get the okay from her to use her name. But you know who this person is, Pakwa, PJ, and Carrie, because we just saw her on Saturday.
Oh,
So-
you didn't need to mouth it.
Well, I mouthed it. But she said that, and she's not sure if it happened, but she was she's getting ready to wash dishes. So she turns on her hot water to get it to run hot. And with her ADHD, she had to go off and do something else. And she's like, "This is good. I'll go take care of that. When I come back, the water will be hot because it won't be too long. And then I can get the washing done." So she comes back.
2 hours later.
No. Oh, no. In her defense, sometimes. We were talking about that. It's a
We've
joke.
all been there.
We are all, we're parents. In any case, so she said she went and she did that. She comes back and the water was turned off. And so my first question was, well, were you home alone? Yes. And obviously cats and a dog cannot turn spigots off. So that freaked her out. I did tell her we're doing this episode on deja vu and how the brain works. And I said, the truth is we can go into that meditative state where we kind of hypnotize ourselves. It's kind of like when you're driving home and somehow you have gotten home and you have no idea how you got there. It's because you've hypnotized yourself.
Yep. Like
a waking meditation. So I said, you may have unconsciously turned it off as you were walking away because it's just an ingrained habit.
Muscle memory.
Yep. So I kind of dial that back to the possibility that she turned it off herself.
For sure.
Okay. However, are you willing to share your story?
Hi, yes I am.
All right. So this is in no way connected to dreams and
Should
deja
we
vu.
start with... Well, never mind. Okay.
Start with my
I was
story
going to say start with yours, but I think she has stuff before,
you mean
right?
like what just happened on Saturday to you at my house?
Yes.
You can tell that first. Go for it, girl.
All right. So I try not to talk to ghosts. All right. Like that is not my thing anymore.
They wave and I just
Yes.
ignore them.
And I did,
don't.
and people were at my house.
So everyone witnessed this.
Yes.
It was a crazy thing. So I'm sitting at the table and of course our daughter is there. And in my left ear, now PJ is sitting beside me, so it cannot be anything
No,
except...
it's sitting across from me.
Who was beside me?
I was.
Yeah, Carrie was.
Okay, anyway, so the person
She's good memory.
The person to my left was not Sophie, which is important because in my left ear, I'm looking across the table at our friends and to my husband, and I hear in my ear Sophie make noise, like very definitely her voice. She's making a noise, like, and I jokingly say it's like the Charlie and the Unicorn, but it was louder, more obnoxious, and kind of like noises like she does sometimes, because she'll go boo into my ear, and I go, Sophie, what the? And Sophie is to my right, sitting at the table, and she's just chilling, like just being Sophie on her phone, and she goes, what? And I go,
No, she was in the other room. She wasn't even in the room.
She was sitting there.
Yeah.
She was? I thought she was in the living room.
No, she left later because I thought she had gone to the living room to be with Eli or Alex and then came back and was sitting beside me because I thought she had made a noise in my ear as she's walking by. And she goes, I've been here the whole time. And I was flustered and I was just like, okay, no, I'm honestly, guys, this is not okay. I just heard something that sounded like Sophie talk in my left ear. It wasn't words. It was just Sophie being a goof, making noises. I'm not okay. Like, it was so crazy. And so it was I'm trying to think of who else at the table. There was at least 6 of us there.
Tom was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
You guys were there.
Friends. Yep. So, yeah, I was just like, okay, no, this honestly happened because our boys were upstairs playing. Alex is in the living room watching whatever, playing with his cars. So, like, there was no other female that could have done that. And Sophie, we were all sitting there, yeah. So that happened to me.
Bet you didn't know I could throw my voice so well.
And make it sound like your daughter?
That's right.
Oh.
He is a master magician. So now other stuff is happening, though.
Right. Now, here's the thing. You said that to me on Saturday, and I didn't think, I'm like, what are you talking about, girl? There's nothing in my house. I haven't experienced anything. And then I said, but wait a second. Because when I experience things, it has to be in my face. Like, I'm used to seeing Joe walking across the road, you know.
Well, and humans are dense creatures. You know, when we see something, we like to, explain it away or ignore it as best we can.
And, you know, my house is an old farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I know it used to be an ice cream shop or creamery. That's about it. We've been there for about 2 years now, and nothing absolutely crazy has happened to me where I can say I seen like a something. But there's things that have happened in that house. I can kind of start from the recent backwards. So yesterday I am making myself a cup of coffee, and I look over at my sink and I see a spoon fly.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
oh yeah, PJ didn't hear that.
I only heard the one that's going to come after this one.
Okay, well, a spoon flew.
Wow.
And I text Shanna. I was like, I just witnessed a spoon flying. And she was like telling me all this stuff. And I'm
Pray
like,
the St. Michael prayer.
yeah. And I go, oh, just making myself a cup of coffee. They just wanted to hand me a spoon.
And I said, no, do not think it's being good and nice to you. Do not think that. Get some holy water.
But what if it makes her a cup of tea?
No,
Does she drink it?
Can you do? Go back to the first episode of this podcast.
I'm a coffee person, so it would have to be coffee. I wouldn't drink.
But what if
tea.
it makes you a cup of coffee? Would you drink it?
Ooh. Well, if there's no sugar in it.
Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know. A good cup of coffee is a good cup of coffee.
No. Anyway.
So prior to that, I was getting ready to come over here, and I knew it was going to be late night because we were recording. I don't remember what one we were recording. And I was like, I'm going to take a quick little nap on the couch. So I close my eyes on the couch. I'm you're falling asleep in a nap, and I'm asleep. And then all of a sudden in my face, I see a little blonde girl come right up to my face and go, "Wake up."
Oh.
Yeah, PJ's heard none of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's working while we're talking to each other.
Wait, what's the one I heard? Okay, keep talking. There's a story
the one
I heard.
that's coming up next is one that you've heard.
Okay.
And I remember coming here and keep on thinking I see her face in my head. And I don't remember if you, like, I kept on looking that way because I kept on seeing, like,
I remember
something over on the corner of my eye. I kept on, like, looking that way because I kept on seeing a blonde girl.
Don't bring it here.
No, she's back in my house throwing spoons at me.
Obviously. She can stay with you.
That's all good. Then prior to that, I was upstairs in my room. It was night, and I was sleeping. And I was having a dream that something was trying to enter me through my mouth, like a person, a being, whatever you want to call it, was trying to come inside my body through my mouth.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah, he hasn't
haven't heard this one either.
Really?
Because you're working. So we're texting during the day. I'm thinking of the one when you're in the kitchen. The sound you heard. That's the only one he's heard.
Oh, yeah. That was before this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured we were getting to it.
I was in the kitchen after the spoons. No, before the spoons.
Before the spoons.
Before the spoons, I was in the kitchen.
It was like the very next day after I heard that sound.
I heard right in my ear, and I thought Tom or the kid was going to be behind me, and there was nobody behind me. But back to the dream of the thing trying to come inside my mouth and take over my body. I woke up and I went like something was in my throat, and I felt it go down my throat. I had to wake up Tom, and I had to go, I think I swallowed something, because it felt like something went down. And that was really the first time I can remember anything really happening to me in that house. I do not like the attic.
Which you had told me.
Yes. I've only peeked up it once. It has like this really crazy like winding staircase that goes up to it. And every time I think about it, I think about this empty room and a rocking chair in the middle of it. Just downstairs in the basement. You've been in the basement.
I looked down into the basement.
Yeah, that's the basement, isn't it?
Yeah, because...
Is it a dirt floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could tell Tom wasn't comfortable with it. He's like, this is our basement. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You don't go down there unless we, like, before we get heating oil, we want to go down there and see how much we have. And we need to make the phone call. But that's like, we're in there for like seconds.
That's my sister's basement.
Yeah,
That's how this one was, too.
I was telling her how much work we put into this basement.
Put so much work into this basement.
I never want to leave this basement.
I love this basement.
Thank you.
I spent so much time down here.
And
What are you saying thank you?
It was all my plan. We followed my Pinterest board. Even the doors that are underneath the steps now. This is my vision come to life.
You're welcome.
Did you vision me in here with you?
No, that's just an actual, like an added bonus.
Cool.
So,
if you build it, the Carrie will come.
Exactly.
So yeah, obviously there's something going on with your house. There's some juju going on.
Right. And I do have some
theories.
I have a collection of things in my house that I have. I have some old medical tools and
why
medicine
now?
jars. Why now?
That's my question.
Well, here's the thing. Up the road from my house, there was a murder.
Uh-huh.
And this guy killed, like we're talking about like eons ago.
Uh-huh.
And the guy was actually hung in the prison in Williamsport.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was like the last hanging that they had there. But he killed his wife and the children and left them in the barn. And I was doing a lot of research trying to figure out what house it was. Because I was like, is this my house? And it's right up the road it happened. And that kind of got me into trying to figure out what's going on with the house.
Yeah.
And then I think it really started to amp up once I got more antiques.
Something followed the antique home.
I don't.
There's an energy with it, maybe.
I know, and I have those medical tools, and I don't have them all out. Some of them are in the garage.
Because spirits attach themselves to items. It's not necessarily to a property or a land. It can be a thing.
But I think it's a child, and I don't know if it's attached to the house or the things. But then I keep on thinking about the kids who got murdered up the road.
Yeah.
But why my house? Well, my house used to be an ice cream place.
Yeah, well, who doesn't want some ice cream on a hot summer day?
How long have you been in the house?
2 years.
About 2 years.
2 years. So things should have been happening.
But the first year I was very sick. I was very sick.
You were very sick.
And
she's in the hospital a lot.
Yeah.
End of last school year, she's in the hospital. True. Yeah. Well, and you noticed too that you're getting like bruises too.
Oh, yes. So I thought I was allergic to the
spongy moths, whatever
whatever they're called.
Formerly known as gypsy moths.
Yeah.
And I was getting these welts, but they were only on my arm. But they weren't like normal welts. They would turn red, and then they would turn to what it looked like a bruise. And very hot to the touch and hurts, though.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the country, and I used to pick up those little things and have them crawl on me. And I never got a rash or anything in my life. I've never gotten a rash ever. From it. Until last summer. And they're always on my arms. Always.
They kind of look like hand grabs.
Yes. Didn't I kind of like make a joke like I look like I've been grabbed because the ones up here, they look like hands.
Yeah, they do. Like someone trying to get your attention.
Right.
Like a kid grabbing at your arm to get your attention.
Like, hey, where's the ice cream?
Yeah, not specific like finger marks, but it's the size of a hand
Yep.
and all that.
See? So we need to get her some holy water.
I believe I have some pictures I can send you. I think I have some pictures of like when they were really dark.
You can. I just think that our listeners, when these things happen, please feel free to message us and we will send you some holy water. We'll figure it out.
I mean, we have a free supply of it from the local church. If your church can't give it to you.
If you go to any church, yeah, churches always have, Catholic churches.
Catholic churches.
When you walk into a Catholic church, it's like the swag, that you get. Like you walk in, you get a rosary, you get Catholic guilt, and you get holy water.
Yeah, they all have somewhere a vat. A vat. It looks almost like a water cooler, but it's usually like a gold color or something.
Or a nice
and it has a little
pewter
spout sticking out of it, and you can fill up a bottle of holy water. Like it's fine.
The diehard Catholics, we even like holy water our cars and stuff. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can always spot a Catholic by the rosary on the rearview mirror.
Yep.
Always.
It's because we have too many rosaries from going into our churches. All right. So anyway, we will keep you updated with Carrie's house after we holy water the crap out of it. Anyway, tonight we're going to discuss deja vu, dreams, night terrors, all that stuff. Some of my references tonight are dreambible.com, dreamdictionary.org, Johns Hopkins Medicine, the Mayo Clinic, sleepfoundation.org, and WebMD.
Ooh.
And it could be cancer.
Oh, Dr. Google.
I know. But I wanted to have a really good discussion about the medical diagnoses and whatnot.
Right. Well,
sorry, go ahead.
That's something where, if anyone, this was a couple years ago, there was hype around this documentary called The Nightmare. I don't know if you remember seeing anything for it. It's an amazing documentary. I don't know why I never finished it, but years ago I started watching it, and they call it the scariest movie ever made because it's 100% real. Oh. It's where any paranormal documentary in the world, even our episodes of our personal stories, like the things Carrie's just said, we could scientifically find a way to explain it away, probably, you know? But
a spoon flew. No, but continue.
But again, yeah, but I'm sure people can figure out a reason, or maybe there is a scientific reason, but we just don't know the physics of it yet. Yeah. But for these lucid nightmares and things like that, it's 100% real, and it can happen to anyone, and it's terrifying. I agree that this documentary is possibly the scariest thing ever made because it's 100% real.
Legit, yeah. So we're actually going to talk about nightmares. I'm going to hold off on that for this episode because...
Have a whole other episode
Well, no. It's going to be on this episode. It's just that my night terrors are really cool. So I'm keeping that for the latter half of the episode.
I figured that was going to be a part of it, though.
Yeah. So I want to start with deja vu because everyone experiences deja vu. So that's...
I feel like I've had this conversation before.
This is why I'm so glad. Don't laugh at that.
Come on.
No.
It took me a minute.
She's on the right side of the table.
I'm just going to rescind your invite. No. All right. Many people have experienced the phenomenon.
You put that on there on purpose.
Twice, actually.
I put it in my script and I never said it. I
saw it there. I was ready for it, but... Anyway, so many people have experienced this phenomenon, don't do it again, known as deja vu. The saying comes from the French, meaning already seen. All right. In deja vu, the person has an immediate sense that they have seen this place before, have heard the story before, or something similar to that. So, however, there are other forms of deja vu that no one talks about, but I think are necessary for this. So first off, one is called déjà vécu, which means already experienced. So not déjà vu, déjà vécu.
Well, okay.
Which is you've already experienced the situation.
Okay.
There's déjà senti, which means you've already thought this. Okay. There's also déjà visité, which means you've already visited this place.
It also just sounds like...
So we say déjà vu.
We all just lump it into one thing.
Yeah, but déjà vu means you've already seen.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's thoughts and words too, not just seen.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of cool. And the French scientist Émile Bourriac, one of the first people to study a strange phenomenon, gave the subject its name in 1876. So there's many types of deja vu. Now, according to WebMD, this is not cancer yet, around 60 60 to 70% of people in good health experience some form of deja vu during their lifetime. But fun fact, it happens to people most often between the ages of 15 and 25. So think about that. Like, I experience it now when I'm in my latter 30s.
Yeah.
Mm.
But generally 15 to 25.
I will say it has slowed down, but...
Mine hasn't. Now, some people experience it a lot, and others only rarely experience it. It does say here that most feelings of deja vu disappear quickly, which can make it hard to recall specific details about the experience, and instead it just leaves us with this feeling of like, okay, I know I've seen this or done this before. So I want to pause there for a second to make a comment on my own. Every time I've experienced deja vu, it has not been a quick thing. Like, my deja vus are like an entire conversation or an entire walk around some property or in some building. Like, it's not just a quick, I've already been here, I've already done this. No, it's been like, I know the person's face, I know the conversation, I know what they're going to say. So I wonder if I'm experiencing deja vu or I just have a good memory or what. So I think it's kind of interesting. So
yeah, for me, it's a fleeting thing, but I can sometimes, like, you know, I'll remember like, oh, I said X and then someone else said Y. And then I'll be like, okay, so I'm going to say this now, and then they're going to say that, and I'll, like, try to keep it going for as long as possible.
yeah, to see if you can keep it,
Yeah, but usually it's only, like, me saying something, someone else saying something back, and, like, boom, that's about how long it is.
Mine goes on for quite a while. How about you, Carrie? Do you experience it very much?
No, I was just thinking. I had a flashback of something, a little deja vu. No. The
Je ne
first
sais quoi.
I remember the first time I
don't know what
walked
that
into
Best joke in Beauty and the Beast, the new version.
I remember having that feeling when I first walked into Eastern State Penitentiary.
That's
like,
cool.
I was there before.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, it says here that humans tend to experience it less as we age, which is the truth for you, PJ, right?
Yeah.
Also, someone who is tired or stressed may be more prone to deja vu feelings. So it could be our anxiety and our stress causing us to notice things like that. Now, it says people tend to experience deja vu more during the evenings and on the weekends. Neither of those are true for me either. So
That's like opposite of stress, though.
maybe where we're thinking we get nervous.
I guess.
Now, WebMD also says the reason that deja vu happens, the reason people think it happens, is because of our temporal lobes. That's where our short-term memory is stored.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at that as like a doctor, memory, you know, we tend to have memories through pictures and glimpses. So we might be thinking, I've been here before, but it's just because the paint colors are similar to a memory that we have. So we're not experiencing deja. I mean, it's not actually us like seeing the future. It's just us recognizing some subconscious memory or dream we had.
Right. Like a smell.
Yeah. So it's similar in look, but it's not the exact thing. That's why we can't connect it. WebMD says it could also be epilepsy.
Yes. I've heard that.
Yeah. So if
misfirings of the brain.
everyone, if you're experiencing seizures, it's not deja vu. All right. So I do want to say, just be careful. Now, I include that medical side because I do have a temporal lobe and I have a working memory. I do not have epilepsy, and I don't experience this only on the weekends and, you know, in the evenings. And I'm experiencing it probably more than I did when I was younger. So I think there has to be something more to deja vu than just something scientific. And you actually, when I was researching this, they'll tell you that they don't actually have a reason as to why deja vu happens. Yeah. No one has a reason. They just say it might be the temporal lobe, it might be epilepsy. So what are your thoughts?
No, I believe that people are in tune with whatever, you know. I'm not sure what it would be, if it's something spiritual or if it's like a collective consciousness or what, but I believe that some people's brains, or sometimes just a regular brain, will tap into this unknown,
the Matrix.
Yeah, right. And you experience this. That's kind of how I feel.
That's what one thing that I was looking online. Now, it's from one of my sources. I think it was Sleep Foundation, but it says maybe it's because all these things are happening past, present, and future within the now. So if there is like a liminal space or some kind of like weird, like metaphysical way that we can tap into the past, the present, and the future from where we are currently, then maybe deja vu is just our shifting our brain shifting to like that greater or higher power.
Yeah, that extra level of thinking.
Yeah, so like they say it as vibrational frequency, and thus those people are able to notice things previously unknown or unseen before.
Yeah.
So they're tapping into that energy to be able to tap into the future or whatnot. So other times they mentioned people could have also seen this through dreams, because in the dream our unconscious were able to reach out to those other planes of existence. So I thought that was kind of interesting because, you know, this episode is about night terrors and dreams, you know, but I think Deja Vu is a good place to start because so many of us have experienced it, you know, and I thought, well, I'm a little bit of a psychic myself.
So that's a question then about dreaming, because that happens to me. Like when I experience Deja Vu, it feels like it came in a dream, but I don't know when that dream ever happened. Maybe it was last night, maybe it was a year ago, but it was definitely a dream. You know, like, it's not like this memory just popped into my head and like, oh, I saw this, you know, like just now. No, like, no, I dreamt this. I just don't know when I dreamt it. I don't know if you are like that when you experience it.
So, my famous example of deja vu that I don't think I've actually ever told you, but I'm telling all of our listeners so you get to find out along with them.
Do tell.
When I first moved to this area, and Dan and I became best friends in third grade, not long after I met his mom, and she's wonderful. She's just, I called her mom, and she was the mom that I needed. Just love that person. So it's no surprise that when I was getting married, she helped me get into my wedding gown. And so we have pictures of her, like, you know, tying me into my it was a corset kind of top dress. But when I was in third grade, I had a very specific dream that I was getting dressed for my wedding, and I was getting dressed into a white dress, and I was feeling a little self-conscious about the front half. And so I was like, no, pull it up a little higher, up to my neck, like hide it all. That woman is behind me, and she's like, no, honey, you're going to look wonderful. And so she's tying everything in the back, like, you know, so Dan's mom is doing an amazing job. And then she pats me on the shoulders and she goes, now look in the mirror. You look absolutely perfect. And he's going to be so happy. And when I was in third grade, I was like, oh my God, am I going to marry Dan? I'm not okay with this. But you flash forward then to our wedding day, and that entire thing happened. Yeah. So I had that dream back when I was in third grade, when I first met Dan's mother. It's almost like my brain knew that one day this entire scenario was going to happen. So somehow I tapped into that. Yeah. And so it all happened on my wedding day.
Okay. So I think that is beautiful, actually.
Thank you.
No, it was a beautiful story.
So for me though, like, again, if it's a dream, I remember that it came from when I was in third grade because I really thought I was going to marry Dan. So I don't, like, maybe your dreams are from when you were a kid. You know, it's finally popping up, and that one color on the wall or that one smell is what's bringing it back. I don't know. But like, mine are so involved. It's not just a little snippet. It is just like an entire event.
Mine can be if I remember the correct sequence of how it goes and I can like drag it out. But I have to actively do that. It won't just happen.
Oh, okay. You gotta work hard for it. Yeah. All right. So let's get into the good stuff. Night terrors. Yay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
For some night terrors.
That's from a really good movie called The Princess and the Frog. No?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
The frog sings that.
Keith David's in it.
No, Frog doesn't sing that.
Who sings that?
It's the evil spirits.
Keith David.
Yeah. Because then all of these spirits, the black shadows are going boom, 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 boom.
Oh, I wish we had a video of this.
All right, here we go.
All right, so what are night terrors? According to Johns
Hopkins.
What are
night terrors?
This is why I'm so glad Carrie's here.
Why?
According to Johns Hopkins medicine. All right, so I went to the non-WebMD for this one. Quote, night terrors are a sleep disorder in which a person quickly awakens from sleep in a terrified state. The cause is unknown, but night terrors are often triggered by fever, lack of sleep, or periods of emotional tension, stress, or conflict. Night terrors are like nightmares, except that nightmares usually occur during rapid eye movement, REM sleep, so REM sleep, and are most common in the early morning. Night terrors usually happen in the first half of the night. Also, night terrors are most common in pre-adolescent boys, though they are fairly common in children 3 to 5 years old. So I found that interesting because I'm not a pre-adolescent boy.
I've had so many as a child.
It never was.
So many.
But what's interesting is I was the only person in my family to actually experience night terrors. And I am one girl and a sea of boys, as PJ knows. It's just all boys. Like stepbrothers and regular brothers, it's all boys.
Yeah.
So I was the only person, and I have experienced them well past my adolescence. So we're talking, I haven't had any recently, but...
Yeah, it was probably, over a year ago, last one you had.
The last big one that I had was when...
I woke up in the middle of the night, you were just clutching me. I'm like, hi.
keep me safe, please. The kids, Alex wasn't even born the last time I had night terror.
Was it that long ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We also had the house blessed and exercised, and I feel like that's given me a lot of peace of mind. Maybe that's part of it. So I still experience some type of night terror, but it's not a night terror. So I'll go into what I experience now, but the true night terror I haven't experienced since before Alex was born. But I know that you've experienced them quite often. You poor thing. Yes. So I went on to Mayo Clinic before we get into your stories, because I wanted to see more about this and
Was it Hellman's Dukes?
Yes, it was Hellman's Mayo.
Okay.
I was so lost there for a second.
I got it, but anyway.
That's because she puts up with me. She knows.
Almost 20 years of it now.
Yeah.
So they actually said, because I wanted to get the symptoms of night terrors to see is that what I'm actually experiencing?
Yeah.
So Mayo Clinic states sleep terrors, that's what they call them instead of nighttime, are times of screaming or crying, intense fear, and sometimes waving arms and legs when not fully awake. They're also known as night terrors, but sleep terrors may lead to sleepwalking. Like sleepwalking, sleep terrors are a type of parasomnia. Parasomnias are disturbing or strange behaviors or experiences during sleep. A sleep terror usually lasts from seconds to a few minutes, but it may last longer. So then I was like, what the heck is a sleep terror? But a night terror. And so I wouldn't say that any of those really fit me, because I don't flail. I don't sleepwalk. I don't scream in my sleep.
Same.
So
yeah.
Except when that thing entered my mouth.
Yeah.
That was different.
That's something.
Well, and I think it's important to note that a sleep terror or night, whatever you call it, night terrors, that is not a nightmare, right? That is just a really bad dream.
Yeah.
On any of the websites you go on to, even Psychology Today, a nightmare is just a bad dream. You wake up, you're going to remember all the details of, or most of them. I have one famous nightmare where I went down to the woods down by my mom's old house, and a guy, by the way, I was reading Lord of the Rings at the time, so you'll get the reference. But I'm hanging out with my friends that were on the hill with me.
One of them was 3 feet tall and barefoot.
So we get into the woods and we hear this chopping sound. I look back and there is a short man carrying an axe ready to kill me. And all of the guys are running. All my brothers and my neighbors are running away. And I trip and fall, no surprise. And then that guy is on top of me and he has his axe ready to chop me.
Remember the Shire, Mr. Frodo?
No, it was Gimli, son of Gloin. But he had an axe. So that was a nightmare for me. I remember all the details. I remember being stuck in the dirt and I could smell the dirt. So nightmare. But a person who has a sleep terror, you remain asleep for that. Now, what's interesting is children who experience sleep terrors, night terrors, whatever you want to call it, apparently they don't remember anything about their sleep terrors in the morning. And it's, according to Mayo Clinic, adults may recall part of a dream that they had during their sleep terrors, but not all of it. And so again, it's weird because I can recall everything down to
Well, that's just your brain. Every time you explain a dream, it takes a good half hour.
They're good dreams. I don't want to brag.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And Tom was always like,
no,
what?
My dreams, I'm like, so we were in a room and it's kind of like it's just a room. And there's this guy there. He's got a guy face and
he's got a guy face.
and then somehow we're in the forest. I don't know how, but you're there.
How about the dreams about your husband being a jerk in your dreams and you wake up and you slap him? Those are fun ones.
I don't slap him, but I won't talk to him. Don't talk to me. He's like, ghost dream. I don't care.
And I'm just whenever I have those dreams, I'm like, okay.
It
was a dream.
The emotion is there.
We're like, how dare you do that in my dream?
Like, oh, it was a weird dream. And then I move on.
I can't. So other night terror symptoms could be screaming, as I mentioned, shouting, crying, sitting up in bed and looking scared, staring wide-eyed at nothing. You could sweat and breathe heavily. The person may kick or thrash too. What's also interesting is the person may find it very hard to wake up. They may act confused, or they may actually get out of bed and run around the house. They could also be aggressive in behavior because they're fighting off whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I have not done like any of that. So, Carrie, I'm going to go to you for your night terrors. What are yours like?
All right. So I remember mine when I was living with my parents when I was little. And it would only happen in my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
Because I was actually talking to my mom about this the other day. I asked her, do you remember when I was like a teenager, maybe between the ages of 13 and 15, where I refused to sleep in my room? She was like, yeah, I do now that you mention it. I would not sleep in my bedroom because they would only happen in my bedroom. Now, in my bedroom, I always thought there was a tall man in there that was going to hold me down. And that's what my dreams or night terrors, whatever you want to call them, was I had the top bunk and he would come up and put his hands down on me and I would just flail because...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
No, it wasn't fun. Especially when you're like a teenage girl and you're like, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
And I refused.
And that's a prescient fear for females, especially when once you go through adolescence, you start to realize what can happen to you, you know.
Yeah.
I refused to sleep in my room. I had to sleep in the living room with the TV on, with every single light on. And that was the only way I could sleep. I actually, maybe like a week ago, I said to Tom, did you hear me scream? And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, I woke up screaming. You didn't hear me scream? And he's like, no, I didn't hear you scream. I don't remember what I was screaming about.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
You told me that story. Yeah.
I was like, I have no idea what I was screaming about, but I was screaming. I was screaming loud. And he didn't budge. I hate that too. Like,
thanks for protecting me, Tom. The monster in my dream was going to get me. Where were you?
Now, were you actually screaming, do you think, or was it just in the
I
dream?
was screaming.
Yeah.
I heard myself scream. Like I
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Okay, I'm using
You
my
woke
hands.
yourself up
Yes,
with...
screaming.
I wake myself up if I go, oh God, what was that? I did it on the couch the other night. I had fallen asleep and I must have been laying back just right where I went like that. And it jarred me awake and Sophie goes, what? And I go, I just snored. You didn't. Yes, I did. I woke myself up. I snored. She's like, if that was a snore, then Dad rips apart chainsaws.
Excuse me.
That's what she said.
Some of those times are definitely you. I'm just saying.
Sure
You're no quiet sleeper
It wasn't
yourself
Rosie?
there.
It's not Rosie? It's Rosie.
It's Rosie.
It's Rosie.
It's Toby.
Rosie is quite the talker when she
Oh,
sleeps.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She's chasing something.
Yeah. I have a question for you. I'm sure you've experienced this before, and I don't know how I would put it in a lump here. Have you had those dreams where you need help? Like you need help so bad, and you go to pick up the phone, and your fingers don't work.
Or you're yelling for help and everyone's ignoring you.
Yes.
Or the words just like
Don't
come
out,
out of
right?
your mouth. Yeah.
Or you get a gun and you go to shoot somebody and the bullet just kind of like falls.
I just had a
slowly.
dream about the whole yelling for help thing. Like
And,
just
and like nothing comes out of your mouth. and
no.
nobody
Well,
can
I was
hear you.
yelling, like I was telling someone off, but I couldn't. It was just like 2 days ago.
Those I don't like. I hate those
That
dreams.
feeling of like
You
inadequacy.
can't- yes.
Mhm.
And that's medically explained too, is like why that happens.
I'm going to talk about some of that later.
That's why I thought I'd
Actually.
tee you up for that, because
Yeah,
I figured it
thank
was
you.
in there.
Well, because I got to talk about my own like scary stuff first. But when I was researching night terrors, all I could notice was I didn't fit into any of the scientific categories of night terrors, which I found interesting but also annoying. I have so many very specific memories of night terrors, and while my dreams share the symptoms of other common nighttime issues, I don't actually fit into any one category. So, like me, being me, I went down a rabbit hole. So, for example, there is a sleep issue called hypnagogic hallucinations.
You said
that's
that
a word.
amazingly.
Thank you. It
You're
is
welcome.
their words, So, according to sleepfoundation.org, hypnagogic hallucinations,
Bless you.
thank you, also sometimes referred to as waking dreams. I'm going to call it that. Are a type of hallucination that occurs as a person is drifting off to sleep. In general, hallucinations involve seeing, hearing, feeling, or smelling something that is not actually present. So that's not the case with me. While my crazy dreams sometimes happen the first part of my sleep, they don't always. Most time it's middle of the night to almost getting close to the morning. So it kind of fits the time of when a nightmare should be happening, but they're not nightmares. So furthermore, I many times also suffer from sleep paralysis, but I fail to agree that that's all that I'm experiencing because on sleepfoundation.org, they also talk about sleep paralysis. And they say sleep paralysis is a temporary inability to move or speak that occurs directly after falling asleep or waking up. While the states of sleep and wakefulness are usually clearly defined and distinct, conditions like sleep paralysis can blur these boundaries. Individuals maintain consciousness during episodes, which frequently involve troubling hallucinations and a sense of suffocation. So I want to point out really fast, our son Eli had terrible dreams before the house was exorcised and before the priests gave him his own blessing, like head to toe, like anointing of holy oils and everything. He remembered everything that he dreamed about, all of it. And he would cry over it. And he would say, it's like I'm in a bad nightmare and I can't stop what I'm doing. Or I'm in a bad video game. And I'm not allowed to stop what I'm doing. Like it's
someone
making
else
me
is controlling me. Yeah.
I'm being forced to do things I don't want to do. But he would not tell you. I'm like, well, can you tell me what's happening? No. And he would start crying. So all I can infer is that it was like he had to hurt things or because Eli is a sweetheart. So the idea of even pinching somebody is a terrible idea for him. But so for me, is it a night terror? Is it hypnagogic hallucination? Is it a waking nightmare? Is it sleep paralysis? It's like a combination of everything. Yeah. Because the two examples that I have, because yours are good, I want to build off yours because we had already talked about dreams. The one that I kept having, and it was a recurrent dream over and over again at my mom's old house, was this dark figure in my bedroom too. And it started when I became an adolescent. And I think it's because I became aware of what can happen, right? But it wasn't at the beginning of my sleep, which is when a night terror is supposed to happen. It wasn't in the early morning, so it wasn't a nightmare. There was paralysis involved. But anyway, so here's my dream. I'm laying in my bed, and I too had a bunk bed, but I slept on the bottom, okay? So I'm on the bottom of my bunk bed, and where my bed was placed in my room, I could see down the hall to my mom's room. And the way her room was set up, I could see my dad's nightstand, his lamp, and of course, I could kind of see almost where he was sleeping, because I could see the edge of their bed. But mostly I remember that lamp because it was always on because he worked third shift. So he would leave in the middle of the night. So I'm laying there, I'm sleeping, and he would just enter my room almost through my window, which was down at the foot of my bed. And he would come towards me, and I could feel him getting closer, and I would look down the hallway because my door was always open because my room was always hot because I was right next to the radiator. And I would be looking in there because I'm well, if my stepdad sees him, he's going to get him because my stepdad will get a gun. Here's no question. But he would get closer and closer, and he would be saying these horrifying and just awful things to me. And it started with him just kind of being there and staring at me close to the window, then getting closer. And it was night after night, this dream would happen over and over. And then he was sitting on my bed, and I could feel the bed depressed by my foot, but I couldn't move again. I was definitely paralyzed and in fear or whatever, still looking down the hall, trying to call for help. And I can't call for help because then sleep paralysis. And then the next night he gets closer and closer to the point where he's actually on top of me, and he puts his hands down on my chest to shove me into the bed. And I start to squeak. I'm no, I'm going to at this point, I've talked to my mom about it. I'm having this recurring dream. She's well, you need to shout. And I'm I'm trying, but I can't shout. And she's force yourself to. Tell yourself I'm asleep. I got to wake up, take control. And so I am forcing my body to scream, and I start making a gurgling sound. And my mom, of course, does not hear the gurgling sound. She's down the hallway, but whatever. And when I made the sound, I woke up and he's gone. So that was a recurring dream that got worse and worse over a series of weeks. It just kept happening and happening and happening. And then finally one night I was able to kind of just say, no, leave me. And that was that. And it stopped, which was great. Thank God. So that was one dream that I had. And when I told it no, it left. So I don't know if I overcame a fear that I had or if it was actually something trying to come into my house, whatever. Okay. My other one happened in my newer house where Mom moved to, and where my room was it was catty corner to the kitchen. And with my door open, I could see my mom washing dishes. Like, that's the angle. So I am not asleep. So this is like a waking nightmare almost, because I was laying down on my bed watching my TV, and all of a sudden I noticed that the floor is like turning into lava. And my mom's just at the kitchen sink washing dishes, singing to herself, doing what moms do. And I'm there trying to scream for help, but I can't talk. And my bed starts to tip like I'm on the Titanic and it's going down. But now it's not going down into lava. It's going down into hell. Like, there's flames and I can hear these voices screaming for like an agony. And I'm clinging to my bed at this point, feeling like I'm going to slide down into hell. Mom's just there washing dishes. And I'm like, Mom, help me. And I finally shout, Mom, help. And then I'm like back in my room. Everything's fine. Mom's there washing dishes, and she turns, she goes, did you say something, honey? No, I'm fine. We're good.
I'm awake now.
So those are my examples, and I don't really know where they fall, because the one could have been a night terror, I guess, because it was like right on the edge of sleep. I must have just started to doze off.
You must have dozed off.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, and I would love to hear our theories from our listeners, because the dark figure really freaks me out.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that. No.
When I was a kid.
Black.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was just
black.
like, but I could tell that he was a guy.
Right.
I could feel it was a masculine presence.
When I was a kid, if I, again, living in this house and everything, if I did not pray, 100% guaranteed I had a nightmare that night. So, like, I had to every night. I was
pray.
I was just like, guardian angel, please don't let me have any bad dreams. Don't let any bad things get near this house. That's it. That's all I said every night. If I ever neglected to say that because I was like sick and took cold meds, which again, cold meds, you know,
could increase whatever it was.
Or maybe I was just up late and just zonked out or whatever. Doesn't matter. If I ever went to sleep without saying that, guaranteed nightmare. Every single time.
Well, and that's why we started praying with Eli. Remember, we had the same prayer, and he had it memorized every night.
But I would, I had the same issue where, like, I constantly, like, almost, like a paranoid person would peek out my window at the fire hall across the street, expecting to see a dark-robed figure, like, there staring at me. And it never did, but that image has been in my head, like, ever since I was a small child. Like, I would just look out the window and see something, like, across the street.
When you had these nightmares and you had to pray before you go to sleep, was it only when you were at this house? If you slept over at a friend's house?
Yeah, I never prayed when I was at someone else's house,
You didn't have those nightmares?
No. Yeah.
Right?
We talked about
almost
that.
like your house with your bunk bed.
We talked about that in episode 2, Well House Part 1. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it then too.
This house is fun, isn't it?
It is now, as long as you keep your curly hair girl away from my house.
She wants my house because there used to be ice cream.
So I think I experienced sleep paralysis one time and only one time. But it wasn't a lucid, it was kind of a lucid dream where I died in my dream.
Well, that's happy.
Yeah, I was, it was like a heist dream. And again, I don't remember the specifics. All I know is I'm carrying a briefcase and there are 3 of us. And I'm running, holding the briefcase, and I hear the crack of a rifle shot.
Oh, okay.
And I feel something hit my head, and then I'm down on the floor. Or ground. And I feel like blood coming down my face, but at this point, I cannot move. I'm stuck inside my body. So the way I describe it, because you've heard this dream before, I'm pretty sure, no?
No.
The way I described it to whoever I told before, picture putting a sock over your hand, and then you can twist your hand around inside the sock. That's how I was inside my body. I'm in my body, trapped there, and I can, like, squirm around inside my body, but, like...
Some kind of egger suit.
Yeah. And I'm like, I need to wake up. I need to wake up. And so, like, I start just kind of flailing my hands until eventually, like, I snapped out of it and woke up. But...
My most recent favorite nightmare that you had was when you thought zombies were attacking and you kicked me.
Well, then. Was she a zombie?
I don't remember this.
Oh, I do, because you had just clipped your toenails, and so they were, like, sharp. I don't know, like, you had clipped them, so they weren't long, But you know how, like, when you clip them, they're like, there's the edge isn't, like, worn down?
Yeah.
So he kicked me, and it hurt, and I had skin missing the next day. Like, he wailed me with his foot because he thought a zombie was biting his foot or something.
Maybe he thought you were the zombie.
Yeah.
I'm never sleeping.
I just needed more space in the bed, obviously. It was a zombie. It was totally zombies.
Cats get more space than we do on our
I know.
bed.
They really do.
All right. Any more stories about night terrors?
I think I'm good.
All right. So now we're going to go to dreams.
Ay, here we go.
All right. So my last portion of tonight is going to be a very simple question. Can dreams be a secret source of knowing? And we kind of started talking about this upstairs at the table, and I was like, we got to hold off.
I had my mini episode, too.
Yes. Because I feel like we needed to record it as we were talking. But if you hop onto dreamdictionary.org, chances are you'll find out what your recurrent dream is a symbol for, because everything is symbolic. For example, the most common dream people tend to have is the dreaded loose tooth or teeth dream. According to that site, teeth dreams are one of the most searched symbols on Google search engine, and teeth in dreams are one of the oldest translated known symbols dating as far back as ancient Egypt.
Oh, dang.
That's pretty cool. Teeth are dream symbols that often point towards some sort of loss in our lives. This is why many people associate losing teeth in their dreams with death. However, this is not always the case. In fact, most teeth dreams symbolize our insecurities, our inner weaknesses, our poor communication, or a loss of control in life. And I had to include this because he's my fave. According to psychologist Carl Jung, dreaming about your teeth falling out can be a sign of a major transition or rebirth taking place in your life. So depending on how many teeth fall out, how they fall out, or if someone is plucking them out of you, on dreamdictionary.org, you can actually see what it actually means with those teeth.
So is it Jung or Young?
You can pronounce it either way.
Okay.
Most people pronounce it Jung now because they say Jungian archetype
Yeah.
instead of Jungian archetype.
I always said Young.
Carl Jung, yeah, that's what I say too. But
Okay.
everyone says Carl. They say Jungian archetypes. So just go
Okay.
with Jung now. Yeah, either one. So, but I want to look up our dreams and see if we can figure out if they have some sort of secret meaning. Because, like, when I think of my recurrent dreams, I told you, and mine's stupid, but I have this dream all the time. And, like, even as much as, like, last week I had this dream. It is me in my old bedroom, so the one where that creepy dark figure was before my mom we moved. And it is, because in that room I had a desk.
So
And
the bunk bedroom.
Yes.
Okay.
The double wide, yeah. And so I had a fish tank, and it was a small, like, 2-3 gallon itty bitty thingy, but in my dream, I have this darn fish tank, and for some reason, it is gross. Like, it is just covered in algae, and half the water is missing. Like, obviously, I have forgotten that this thing exists. All right. So I go, oh my gosh, has anybody fed these things?
I
like,
love this dream.
Are they even going to be alive? And then I pull the lid off, and not only are they alive, they've had babies, and they're doing great. And I'm like, okay, thank God. I'll put some more water in and take care of you guys. But then somehow my one tank becomes 2 tanks. And I go, I forgot I had a second and a third tank. Well, I better organize the fish now because I have goldfish with guppies and guppies with swordtails. If I move them all into their correct tanks, this won't be a problem anymore. So there I am sorting stupid fish in these tanks that I have completely forgotten about that are covered in algae. So I actually looked up a dirty fish tank for symbolism. Okay.
Okay.
Like, what the heck does this mean? So you can go on to the Dream Bible, or you can even use dreammeaningexplorer.com. So the symbolic meaning of a dirty fish tank is emotional stress and neglect. That's the first thing that you need to be worried about. Because a dirty fish tank represents a situation in your waking life where you have been neglecting your emotional well-being. It could be that you've been ignoring your feelings, avoiding confrontation, or suppressing emotions that need to surface. So this is where I laugh and say to my friend Maria, you're right, we're supposed to discuss our emotions, but I'm a Capricorn. You shove that down and you don't cry. So maybe that's why I keep having this recurring dream, is because I don't show my emotions. and I don't like crying. Like the other night, I was upset and I was on the couch, but I had my phone in front of my face and I was silent sobbing so no one would know. And the kids had no idea that I was upset about something.
Mm.
So like I just remember like that's the kind of person, if I have to cry, I'm going to go get in the shower where no one can see it and I can wash it away and then it's gone. Like I just don't like crying.
Just pushing that algae down.
See, I just don't even do that. It's just locked away somewhere.
Yeah. Where's your fish tank?
Yeah, I know, right? That's probably why I don't dream. Maybe I just blank them out, you know?
They're all pushed away forever. The second reason for a dirty fish tank is toxic relationships.
Well.
Yeah. And
Oh, yeah, blame it on the burden.
nobody except for us gets that reference. So, but it says it could be signaling that there's a relationship that has become toxic or unhealthy. Perhaps there are people around you who bring negative energy into your life and drain you emotionally.
Go make me a sandwich.
And so, but I think it's interesting that like I'm trying to organize the fish because they're not supposed to be together. Maybe I'm trying to move the goldfish over there to get rid of that negativity, you know, because goldfish are gross. There's also the possibility it's overwhelming responsibilities. Well, that's me. So if anything, that's it. We're good. But if you actually go to clean the fish tank, it's a spiritual cleansing. I never get that far because I'm too busy organizing freaking fish.
Yeah, you fix the fish. That's something, right?
I'm trying. There's too many of them. So
it's like herding cats or something. You're getting there.
I'm trying. Little scrappers. All right. So, PJ, do you have any recurring dreams?
No.
Okay, well, then I'm not going to ask you.
I never
to look up
have a
anything.
recurring dream.
All right, Carrie, I want to look up your recurring dream or dreams.
Well, what's up with my hands not working?
All right. So, like the inability to like move something.
Mm-hmm.
How about driving off a mountain?
Dream. Do you want to have a conversation?
I had one last night.
Okay.
Snow-covered roads. We were doing like 70 up a mountain.
Why would you do that?
Because, you know, in the dream, how it feels like you're like going through water.
Geologic?
So I'm like, we need to go faster or else we're not going to make it up the mountain because we're just going to slide back down. So, so we're like flying up this mountain by the time we crest the top of the hill. And then there's a turn. And so, yeah, the car just goes right off and then I wake up, you know. But I'm always having dreams about going off the side of a road.
All right. So I'm going to go to the hands thing first.
Okay.
All right. Hands in a dream are indicative of your ability and want to give a part of you to someone or something. Hands are what you feel with, what you hold things close to you, and with what you keep in touch with people. So cutting or falling off hands or not using them means you're losing touch, you're losing your grasp, or you're losing your control.
Oh, I hate losing control.
Yeah, so there you go.
I am a control freak.
And it could also mean like losing joy and happiness too. We don't want
always
that.
happy.
Well, so get those hands moving. All right, so your comment is
Jazz hands.
driving off a cliff.
Driving off a cliff.
Yeah, or falling off a cliff.
Or were you driving a car?
Yes.
Driving
I'm always in a car. I've never actually had a dream where I personally have fallen off a cliff. I was always in a car.
You never had like the falling dream and then you wake up.
But yeah, but I'm always in a car from
Those
it.
stink.
It's never like
Really?
Yeah,
You're
it's never
always
me
in a
walking. It's
car.
always in a car. Even when I was a little kid, like, and my parents were driving, it'd be in a car.
Oh, okay, here we go. Ready? So this sort of dream can be referencing a few different things. It can be the death of one's flesh or the end of the direction of where you're going in your life. With you driving off a cliff, it's showing something in your life that is now over and it has ended. So it can be spiritual and it can relate to where you have routed yourself and to where you are in the world.
Off the
So
cliff.
something
Interesting.
is ending or has ended.
This is the last time everyone heard me on Little House Exorcism.
I am taking over. Ha ha ha.
All right, any other recurring nightmares or dreams?
Look at her face.
I'm excited. I like looking this stuff up.
Oh my goodness.
Laura actually has a book about dreams, and like you can look up everything. It's a big fat, like almost like a dictionary. It
Right.
really
You
is.
could be
It's a
like,
dream
what
dictionary.
does it mean if I dream of an elephant? Like,
I'll look it up.
Go for it.
Because like the one recurring dream that I have is that stupid fish tank, and it's very different variations. Where like I now have a big one. It's almost like a big TV, and like it's a flat kind of like fish tank, and so like it's tall, but it's pretty skinny. So like I'll take the fish out of the neglected fish tank and put it into the big one, and it looks really pretty for a little bit, and there was lights on it and whatever.
When I was little, I used to have a recurring dream that I was in this hotel, and in the middle of the
Saying,
hotel,
"Come play with us."
No, not that kind of hotel. Where like the rooms kind of like the hotel was a square inside, and the rooms were on the outside of the square, and in the middle was just like tropical stuff, like plants.
Oh, okay.
And I would always dream about that. Always. A hotel.
Hotel.
It makes me think of a Chinese, like old Chinese houses, how they have like the courtyard in the middle.
Yeah. That's
Well,
our
a lot of-
courtyard.
A lot of places in Arizona, like places where it's flat, they have that in the middle of their house and their
Yeah.
building because it cools the house down.
Yeah.
So, dreaming of a hotel may refer to you moving from one path to another in your career, your relationships, or a physical move. So, if the dream is luxurious, it indicates a positive transformation and that you're making a wise decision. So, seeing all that verdant stuff, I think means that you're kind of going into the wilds, but like in a good way. So, it's going to grow more. You're going to see like a beautiful blossoming.
There you go.
I can sound like a psychic because I have Google.
Does the letter S mean anything to anyone here?
S. You lost somebody recently.
Hold up.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I'm going to look up the other one I have is like, you mentioned the idea, like, the bullets don't come out of the gun. So to dream of bullets represents the potential power of decisions or actions to control or direct a situation that feels dangerous about being real. So, okay. So obviously I can't control it then, I guess. Because this whoop.
Oh, no.
I know. It's like, oh, darn. So it says, consider how the bullets appear in the dream for any additional meaning. So, for example, if it's used by bad or evil people and reflects a bad or harmful intention that people have around you. If you have bullets without a gun or they're in boxes, it reflects that your resources are not right there or the motivation is missing. So you're going to face some conflict. And it says, dream of bullets used against you may present feelings of being targeted or singled out and feeling the brunt of someone's anger. So this is not helpful in this case, Dream Bible, because when I shoot the gun, the bullets just fall to the ground. So let's try again. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's this right here because it says, a bullet often links with feeling wounded, hurt, or the desire to wound or hurt. So therefore, if the bullet is not working, you actually don't want to hurt the person because you're a nice person, which is true.
You are very nice.
I know, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
No, I just looked up common dream tropes.
Oh,
and one that's common for a lot of people that I've never had, so I'll present it to the group here. Dreams of like going to school naked anything like that.
Yes.
So not naked, but like in the wrong clothes. And
Okay.
I'm mad at myself.
Like pajamas or something?
No, like let's say that I was supposed to be dressed really fancy because there's a dance and I'm like wearing like pajamas.
Yeah.
And I can't find the clothes I'm supposed to be wearing for it. That happens quite often in my dreams.
The only one like that I've had, and I guess you could call it a recurring dream, but I know, like, we don't have to look up the symbolism because I know what it is every time we did a play, the night before opening night, so we always open on Friday, so Thursday night, I always dreamt of showing up to school or wherever the play's being held, showing up and everyone's like, hey, we're on right now. Where were you?
Yeah,
and
you're late.
Yeah, and I'm like, my costume's back at home. Like, this isn't rehearsal? No, we are on right now. And
I need to go on without the costume.
yeah, or like, it's
try
like,
to go back
or it's
to
like,
get it.
yeah, like, okay, I'm not on until Act 2. I can still make it home in time,
Yeah.
But without a doubt, that happens. That dream happens every time before a performance.
Well, and obviously that's just the anxiety
Yeah,
of
yeah,
messing
like-
up. Yeah.
I wonder what this dream means.
Calm down, subconscious. I keep my costume in the costume room.
In the dungeon,
In the dungeon.
as we called
I
it.
love the dungeon. Well, anyway, real listeners, if you have any dreams you would like us to look into for you, please message us. I will look on to Dream Bible for you. No problem. I'm enjoying this. But I do want to give you a reminder that we have our giveaway going right now. If you hop on Facebook, you can make a comment. Carrie's even commented on it.
My mother did too.
Yeah, your mother did. I saw
Right
that.
now, not a lot of people are in there, so your chances of winning are pretty
It was
high.
pretty fast, though. People were like hopping on it right away.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
I see you. So please hop on Facebook and get into that giveaway. We're so excited. Thank you so much for helping us get to 20K. And I am so close to 15,000 alone just for Well House Exorcism, which is
awesome.
exciting. Yeah.
Excuse me, you are?
Uh-huh.
We are.
Me.
It's me.
Let me hit the refresh on our Acast site and see what the number is right now.
Ooh,
All
live
right,
update.
yeah.
14,908.
And
Gotta pump those numbers.
Let me look up. Anyway. Anyway.
No,
So-
but that's a good segue into just the fact that we feel so blessed for everyone who listens and who shares the word about us. And
this is all through people just talking to each other.
yeah, we don't pay it for advertising or anything, so that means that everyone out there is either finding us through happenstance or you're spreading the word about us. And either way, we are so grateful for all of you.
Because this
really.
podcast was not supposed to exist.
I know.
The podcast that wasn't supposed to be.
now you have a special podcast basement.
And we have a paranormal expert. We have a medical expert too, Jackie. So it's so exciting. We're building our base, and we're gonna have the
There's Banks. Don't forget about Banks.
I will
Our podcatter.
definitely forget about the podcatter. Piece of garbage. He was trying to help us with our ghost hunting materials today.
Oh, the ghost hunter. We got some.
Well House Investigations is going to kick up soon. Just exciting. So, all right. So thank you everyone for making us your twice a week listen, hopefully. Since we have many episodes.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to Well House Exorcism. Find us on Instagram as Well House Exorcism, all one word. Twitter X as wellhouse_exorc, or on Facebook under Games Overboard because we're a subsidiary. Feel free to hop onto our website as well, gamesoverboard.com. And please email us. We want to hear from you. This entire episode was because Carrie said, I like hearing all your personal stories. We got you.
Yeah.
So give us your ideas. And Carrie, I want to say thank you for being on here and sharing your spooky dreams that you've had.
In my spooky house.
And your spooky house.
Are we going to investigate my spooky house?
Listen.
We got to test the equipment.
We just got a spirit box thing for the stuff.
All right. However, we're going to get some Palo Santo incense that we're going to crack it out early because we are not bringing anything home, PJ.
No.
We will investigate your house. And the entire time, your child will make fun of us because he doesn't believe in ghosts.
He doesn't believe in ghosts.
So.
He doesn't believe in a lot of things.
The whole time we'll be sitting there doing the Estes method and we'll hear, this is stupid.
What are you doing?
He'll be like, scientifically, there are 3 reasons right now as to why this is not true. And here, let me...
That's John. Did you know that the people who believe in this have no...
and statistically speaking, sense. But honestly, thank you, Carrie, for being
No
here.
problem.
Thank you for sharing. And come back more often.
I'll be here every day.
Yay.
I'll be back on Saturday
Yeah.
to record with you.
That's right.
You're just going to
Right?
live... You know, if you want to live
Yeah,
here...
Carrie will be back for Games
just
Overboard.
Don't bring the curly-haired girl.
I don't want to bring her. She could stay at home.
She wants ice cream.
So if you want to hear more Carrie, the same week this episode comes out.
Games Overboard. As always, think spooky thoughts. People think dreams aren't real just because they aren't made of matter, of particles. Dreams are real, but they are made of viewpoints, of images, of memories, and puns and lost hopes. Neil Gaiman.